Hey guys, Sableye here, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are here with a World Cup match analysis. This one is for top 16, Canada versus Taiwan. Of course, I myself am the Canada side, and from the Taiwan side, we have Duh Jenn-Chau. I do apologize if I did mispronounce that, but we've got a big match right here. We've got Calyrex-I versus Dialga on my end. So, a little bit of backstory here. Canada did already win the week 4-2. So just kind of, you know, rocking out. Got to close out the week anyways, right? This one for me was for a personal record. My opponent, of course, at 4-0, currently on the record for World Cup. So definitely a battle of interest still. So let's get some thoughts out here. Of course, my last few matches have been over on the Victory Road channel. So if you guys did miss out on those, I will link them in the description or somewhere on the screen. Either way, definitely go check them out. Also, if you aren't following the Victory Road, I mean, tons of great matches over there. I don't know what you're doing. But anyways, this matchup for me is kind of one that I was expecting. They had used this team prior weeks as well, and I figured once they had officially been eliminated, there was no real reason for them to bring in a team that was already used. Like a new team, right? They might as well just run it out. No real need to create something new or anything crazy. So I figured, kind of expected this or the other team that they've been using, but I did manage to pull this, and this is what the Dialga was for. This is why I wanted to run Dialga this week. And it was, you know, Dialga. Dialga's fun, right? It's still a fun team. But anyways, Dialga, Thunderous lead from my end, and Safety Goggles Thunderous here basically covers everything they can go for. And it's just one of those ones where I have the taunt. I'm still offensive, right? I'm not Prankster by any means, but offensive with Safety Goggles, Eerie Impulse, and Taunt really shuts their team down for the most part, and it's super difficult to play around. So I can go here, I can two ways to play this, right? I need to stop Trick Room, but I also need to stop Spore, and they have to realize I can't stop both. So I think the concept here is generally be Taunt P2, but I think I'd play this game one a little bit more because I expect them to attempt Trick Room, right? What they want to know is they don't think I have a real way to stop Trick Room. So what I do is I taunt the Amoonguss. That shuts down Rage Powder's future turn, shuts down a Spore this turn, and I simply Trick Room myself to Trick Room on their Trick Room, so we're not in Trick Room. And I think that was the best play I could have possibly made, because it basically guaranteed that Trick Room was either not going up, and if Trick Room did go up, there's no pressure because the Amoonguss is taunted, and I can simply reverse it next turn. But we are going to see that the Dialga does go for the Trick Room, right alongside that Porygon 2, also clicking Trick Room. And you'll love to see it, so I definitely got that turn one right, which is absolutely massive. You cannot complain about that. Still not over though, right? Because now obviously I taunt the P2, right? It's a given. I have to do it, right? I have to respect the fact that I still have to drop the taunt. I could call them saying, hey, we're not gonna click Trick Room now because you click taunt, but it's still the safest play for me is just to stay out of the room. And here I wanted to drop a max Wormwind, but I said there's no real reason to Dynamax. If they try to switch around, maybe they survive the Wormwind, and I'm wasting turns of my max, so there's no real reason to. So I opted not to, just to get some chip damage with the Flash Can here. It's taunted right now. It probably wants to either switch out or just get some Pollen Puff damage up. There's not a whole lot more that Amoonguss can do in these scenarios, and they do decide to switch it out. So Wormwind into what is this incoming Palkia would have been way better of a play. Would have just probably won me the game on the spot right there, but like I said, I played it a little bit safe for not getting too greedy, played it a little slow, because their team plays slow, right? So I didn't want to play super fast, and I'm playing slow, and they get the Trick Room back up into late game. But like I said, get the taunt off, get the Flash Cannon off, and I believe this is just a foul play. Yeah, and they do just launch that foul play into my Thundurus here, and Thundurus does not appreciate that. It was a critical hit, but the more important thing is Thundurus is alive and just hinders off the Palkia now, right? It's one of those ones where it's, hey, I'm just going to hinder your Palkia, and there's not a whole lot you can do, right? If you want to max the Palkia, it doesn't appreciate it. It just basically covers every single option. I could taunt the Palkia, but the thing is they're not getting Trick Room up because I'm going Wormwind into it. So they're either going to not get Trick Room up and die. Like, they're either going to die, or they're going to max, not die, but be at -2. Or they're going to have to be forced to switch out again. So I think either of those two scenarios are work very well for me. Nothing too crazy, nothing to worry about there. And the Porygon 2 is locked into clicking Foul Play if they want to, or they have to switch it out. And Palkias don't carry Protect, so I'd imagine Amoonguss wants to make the switch in on the field right here, just to keep redirecting some pressure. Yep. And I think what they want is they want their Palkia to be alive. And by keeping their Palkia alive and somehow trying to keep it alive, they can try and get Trick Room up. But I think I've put them in a very complex situation here where they can't do anything, right? They might go Spatial Rend into Dialga, they might go Earth Power into Dialga, they might Max Quick. We still don't know speed tiers here, so maybe my Dialga is just faster. We do see no Dynamax from their Palkia. Here's an Eerie Impulse coming out. Palkia doesn't want to be here anymore. It's at -2. We're going to drop a big ol' Wormwind into this Palkia, but Palkia unfortunately is going to get that attack off first, and thankfully they decided not to hit the Thundurus, and I think, in my opinion, that's the wrong play. I think they hit the Thundurus there, they take out Thundy. I think they're in such a way more optimal position, right? My big thing was stopping Trick Room. If they kill Thundy and I kill Palkia, yes, in fairness, I do get my sweeper on the field, right? I would be able to get Kyogre, I would be able to get my other Pokemon on the field, which helps me out, but Thundy is the reason they can't get Trick Room up right now. Thundy is the only reason they can't get Room up, and I think with a team like this, and having experience with Calyrex, Palkia myself, it's one of those ones where you gotta get Room up, and their best way to do that would have been to eliminate Thundurus, but they chose not to here. They're gonna let Dialga Dynamax, and they're gonna trace. They are gonna trace pressure once again, which is really nice. Kind of bad in the long run for me if I end up in a P2 endgame, but for right now I think it's okay. We're gonna get a Taunt off. This time I hit the P2 because I'm like, you know what, it's not a big deal. I do believe that is a misplay. I expected Amoonguss to taunt. Honestly, I expected them to Rage Powder because I felt that it was a little bit better for them to Rage Powder, and then I taunt the P2 and the Amoonguss would waste a turn, but that was the concept here, right? Like, they already know I have taunt. Amoonguss shouldn't be trying to click Spore. I feel like they should just redirect, make sure they get the Trick Room up, which is why I was taunting the P2, but no redirect. Going right into the P2 here, and like I said, it's one of those ones where they can guarantee that they get one or the other up, right? Which I guess was fair. But the Steel Spike going into Amoonguss, just gonna shy of the kill. And I wanted the Steel Spike, guys, because of the Calyrex in the back. I didn't want a Wormwind, bring in the Calyrex for free and not have a defense boost. I wanted the Steel Spike there. But it does punish me a little bit here because they did go for Spore. I was fully expecting a Trick Room Rage Powder here, but of course, can't do anything about that, and they are going to correctly get the call right there, get the Spore off, but thankfully they don't get the Trick Room up, right? So this is one of those ones where I just Wild Charge, see if they're going to give me the 1 HP Amoonguss here, and obviously they can't set Trick Room, so I attempt to try and launch a Max Steel Spike if they give it to me. Other than that, there's not really anything crazy. They're actually going to hard switch out to P2 here, which I think is fair, because I think at this point they realize Thundurus can't hit into... Thundurus can't hit into the Calyrex, and Dialga obviously taking a guaranteed turn of sleep here. They don't have their Trick Room up. The Protect from the Amoonguss makes a whole lot of sense here, and a Wild Charge, of course, just coming out, not going to do a whole lot, which is a tad bit unfortunate, but Dialga remaining asleep. So, I don't hate my position, but they have done one thing very, very well right now, and that is stalling out my Dynamax. And when you're a Calyrex-I Palkia player into a Dialga, that's optimal, right? They've stalled out my Max and they haven't Dynamaxed yet, so they can still get a Calyrex sweep here in this endgame. I'm going to go into Instant and probably just try and wake up to hit the Amoonguss. I don't think they're going to Spore the Thundurus. If anything, I think they're going to switch out into the P2 here. So it's one of those ones where Flash Cannon gets me consistent damage into that slot if I do manage to wake up. And Instant is relatively a safe play, switching. They're not going, they might just Glacial Lance. Instant should be able to tank that. I get on the field as well outside of Trick Room, being able to set up Intimidates, being able to get Parting Shots off on the following turn. All in all, it just felt like the safest play possible for me. Could have maybe got a little bit greedier, maybe gone after the Calyrex, but right now this just felt safe. Even if they did make a miraculous read here and Quake the Instant, worst case scenario, I still had Sash on this Instant, so I was still getting a Parting Shot off. Instant is still the fastest mon on the field. And it just felt right. So thankfully they're going to trace pressure once again. So third time I think they trace pressure now, which is kind of wild. Very, very promising for me as well. Because like I said, it's unfortunate if it goes down to a P2 versus like a long end game like that. But as long as not tracing Intimidate there is very nice. It allows Instant to do some work if I want to. But they do decide to straight up Dynamax with this Calyrex here. And hopefully Dialga can wake up. Hopefully Dialga can wake up here. That is basically my one and only hope. Dialga does manage to wake up immediately, get that Flash Cannon up, going into the P2. Like I said, nothing crazy. Doesn't need to do crazy damage, just needs to get some chip damage out. We are going to see this Max Quake come out from this Calyrex. And this game is very spooky, guys, because now I've lost Dialga. They've got a Quake boost on their Porygon, and it is my best way to break through them is with Ogre. And Ogre doesn't like, this is a Calm Mind leftovers Kyogre. This does not have the best way to break through Porygon 2, which is very, very scary. So Kyogre, of course, coming on in. I bring in Kyogre first. At this point, it's basically I need to miraculously get this to an endgame, and all of a sudden, I'm looking at playing the timer here. Because I know I can't break this P2. I need to keep my pieces. I can break it in the long run because I can Calm Mind, Fake Out, get my Calm Minds up, protect onto Eerie Impulse, recycle my Fake Out, right? And I can always just get damage up that way. But it's still scary because of the Eerie Impulse potential on their end of the field, and I need to miraculously keep my pieces here. For me, this is an easy parting shot Calm Mind. We don't know what they're going to go for here. They probably want to just drop a Quake into the Instant. Right now, my Instant is my win con, and I'm concerned. I'm expecting them to expect my Instant to switch off the field here, or to stay on the field with like a parting shot. But like, I'm expecting them to Hailstorm the Instant slot, or even just drop a Quake into it. Either of those two plays would be what I'm expecting here. I get my parting shot up here, just because, like, yeah, if they're going to get Trick Room up, it's not a big deal, as long as I preserve my Intimidates and my Cycles and my Fake Outs. So I'm going to pivot into Instant here. If they want to go for, into Thundy here, if they want to go for Quake, it was fine. I eat that perfectly. If they want to Quake Kyogre, they're -1. It's not going to do crazy amount of damage, and my leftovers and my Protects and my future Intimidates can come out and tank that pretty well. But of course, the Overgrowth is actually going to come on out here, do massive amounts of damage, and this is where the endgame really got shaky for me. This is where my endgame got super, super shaky here. They still have a Moongus in the back. I'm forced to start protecting now. They've now got 4 turns of Trick Room. And, excuse me. They've got 4 turns left to Trick Room. And this is one of those ones where, yeah, Kyogre starts tanking. But the Overgrowth means I can't leave my Kyogre on the field to eat a Seed Bomb or a Max Overgrowth anymore. So I have to protect this turn and pivot Instant. There's no other play here. I gotta keep the Instant, hoping they go Hailstorm or something like that, and I have to protect. I'm expecting maybe an Eerie Impulse, maybe an Ice Beam, maybe a Foul Play. I don't know what this P2 has. We've only seen Trick Room at this point, up to this point, I believe. That's all they've really tried to do with this thing. So I don't know if they're gonna go offensive. I don't know if they're gonna go defensive. They could try to recover here, but I feel like it should be an Eerie Impulse, depending on what they go for. But I have to get Instant, and like I said, I'm sassed. They're -2. I'm not losing Instant this turn, right? There's no world in which, hey, Instant's not making it through this turn, right? Instant is consistently going to make it through this turn. No ifs, ands, or buts. And this is where that crit earlier on that Thundurus really hurts, because Thundurus could have actually survived another Foul Play. But here's an Overgrowth into my Kyogre, which I'm fine with, because now I get Fake Out pressure next turn. Kyogre, of course, going to manage to tank that thanks to the fact that I swapped in another Intimidate. And we are going to see a Recover. Okay. Recover is perfectly fine. It's just one of those ones where it's like, yeah, we just kind of chill. We just kind of chill here. Kyogre's gonna, you know, bulk on up here. Nothing too crazy. Get some lefties recovery back. Just at the end game, hopefully not die. The big concern is getting through this Calyrex with Kyogre not dead. If I can get through this Calyrex with Kyogre not dead, it is very promising for me. 3 turns left to Trick Room, so getting out of this is another one that's wild. But the Fake Out, Opulse comes out right now. Yeah, I Opulse right now. 100%. I was going to say, Ryan, why are you clicking Ice Beam? But I definitely click Opulse here 100% of the time. No ifs, ands, or buts. And it's just one of those spots where now I have to get out of this. You know there's going to be an Eerie Impulse. You know they're going to hinder off my Kyogre here to the best of their ability, right? Here's the Eerie Impulse. There it is. They had to get it off, right? They realized that I had Fake Out pressure that turn. So they either go for the kill or the Eerie Impulse so that my Eero can't really sweep them here. Opulse coming out right now. Going to actually miss. But thankfully it misses the Porygon 2. And missing the Porygon 2 is massive because it chips the Calyrex into the range that I needed the Calyrex to be in. Because now I can go Opulse and Flare Blitz and hopefully take down the Calyrex. Because we're almost outside of Trick Room, but I need to wait a few more turns to be able to maneuver that, right? So this is one of those ones where I bring in Thundurus as a sacrifice, I believe. I think I actually Parting Shot Protect. I believe is the play I made. Right, with 2 turns left to trigger my Parting Shot Protect, bring in my Thundurus, I believe was the right play, because I'm not going to Flare Blitz into rain here. Right, so I believe it should be Parting Shot off of them, Protect. And it's basically, do I think they're going to Glacial Lance? If they call this in Glacial Lance and kill my Thundy, it becomes very problematic. Right, and that's where I lose this game. Whereas the other way, like if I wasn't, I mean, Thundy probably still dies, so it's still a little shaky here. They might try to kill Ogre as well. We are going to see the high horsepower correctly into the Instant. Thankfully though, -2, no problem whatsoever. Foul plays coming out. Like I said, Instant tanks this. just over half, which is a little bit unfortunate here. But the parting shot going to hinder off this Calyrex once again. And we get our Thundurus coming back on the field, and Kyogre going to gain a little bit more health back thanks to the grass and the leftovers recovery as well. And Thundy now gets on the field for free. And with the timer endgame in mind, this sets us up very, very, very nicely to win this endgame. Not great, but it would have been a whole lot better had Thundurus been able to survive another foul play. But after that crit, Thundurus can no longer do that anymore. So it's not the end of the world. We're still able to pivot, and it's one of those ones where I can cycle Instant back in, and I think their best play is to double Kyogre. But if they think I think their best play is to double Kyogre, they might expect Instant in that slot. So I'm gonna bring Instant in for the Thundurus, trying to call a Glacial Lance and see if Kyogre can make it through this turn, where to a spot where I can get Instant on the field on the following turn and go O-Pulse Flare Blitz and finish off this Calyrex. Seeing the Overgrowth generally means that they either don't have Protect or they don't have Trick Room. I am banking on them not having Protect. Right now, that's my win con in this endgame. If they want to Protect and reset room, it's useless right now for them to click Protect as well with a minus a million Calyrex. So they might as well just start launching damage, maybe try to get Trick Room off that way if they have it. Right, whereas the P2 gonna have to sit here. It's gonna be a pain to deal with. Thankfully, we get our Instant in here with some grassy terrain recovery as well. But Glacial Lance is gonna come on out, gonna go out. Kyogre gonna take a hit right here, but Kyogre should be able to tank this. Like I said, this thing's minus like 6 million at this point. Yeah, it does absolutely nothing to both of my mons, and that's really, really good. Foul play going into the Instant does do a little bit of damage here, but Instant sitting there, no big deal. Gonna get the O-Pulse off from my Kyogre here, and now we've positioned the spot that we want. Now we've positioned to where we need to be, right? We can go O-Pulse again into the Calyrex, into a Flare Blitz. It will finish it off. If they want to switch a Mungus in for that slot, it will finish it off, right? There's not a whole lot that they can really switch around with right now. Their best play might be to sack a Mungus, but they're also under the concept of, hey, I don't really want to sack anything if I don't have to right here, right? There's no reason for them to sacrifice something if they don't have to. So now we're outside of Trick Room. And I could try to click Fake Out, but right now, Fake Out is useless, because if I Fake Out, I can only Fake Out one. Trick Room goes up in the other slot, so this to me is just Flare Blitz, O-Pulse. Get that slot off the field unless they Protect. And if they Protect, I'm forcing that Protect, and I can pivot around afterwards. It's not the end of the world. But they shouldn't Protect, because I could always Fake Out P2, saying, hey, I don't care about this Calyrex. Both of which would be valid plays on my end, so I'm just going to launch the kill into the Cali here. And if we can manage to pick up the KO, we're in a very, very favorable position. But the unfortunate part is they're going to click Trick Room on this turn as well. Like, you know they're clicking Trick Room here. To me, though, it's just a matter of getting something dead as they click Trick Room. Because there's only so much time left in this match, right? O-Pulse is going to come on out, do some chip damage. Flare Blitz is going to come on out. And I was actually a little concerned. After that O-Pulse, I wasn't certain how much damage that Flare Blitz was going to do. I was a little concerned it was going to leave it on like 2 or 3. And it was going to be super, super unfortunate of an endgame. But thankfully, Instant got its job done right there. And now the Porygon 2 is going to click that Trick Room. And we have 3v2. Got to start considering timer here as well. You know they're going to be able to put my Kyogre to sleep. But the Porygon 2 can 1v1 everything. Right? Foul play I don't think kills Instant. But something like Pollen Puff plus Foul Play will kill my Instant. And this is where the crit on Thundurus fully matters, because Thundurus is a safe switch it. But if they Foul Play on that switch, and there's the 3-minute mark as you guys see, right? But now I've got to get Instant off the field and bring in Thunder. There's no... I could hard Flare Blitz here, but I think I died to Foul Play. And I don't like that play. Did I actually Flare Blitz here? I think I changed my mind. I definitely believe I changed my mind. Yeah, I definitely changed my mind and went straight into Thunder, because I didn't want to die to something like a foul play. Obviously, I'm still trying to stall for time here right now, right, guys? This is my win con at this point, is get to timer with the Pokemon advantage. And they just they honestly played an amazing game 1 here. I mean, they messed up earlier on, I believe. But other than that one misplay earlier on, pulling this back on their end was very, very well played. I'm not too proud of the way I played this endgame myself, but I do believe it was a very well played endgame on their end after those few early turns. The Spores coming on out does correctly target the Ogre as well, because I figured, hey, they're going to Spore the Instant because Flare Blitz would just kill it. But maybe they got that call right. Either way, Foul Play is going to go off, and because they crit me earlier, I now lose Thundurus. And losing Thundurus there is really, really unfortunate. And there goes Kyogre, fast asleep. There's the first turn. Like, I could have protected there. right? But I don't think it actually helps me, because if I protect there, I bring in fake out pressure, then they get, I probably lose this game at this point, right? As long as my opponent can clean this end game up properly, it's just over. It is just over. There's no world in which I pivot, right? There is no world in which I pivot through this right here. It's a matter of they just have to protect. So what I need to do is I need to bank on the fact that, hey, I'm asleep right now. You best not be waking up. You best not be waking up right here. And right here, I misplayed. My win con was getting to timer. My win con was getting to timer there. Thankfully, they do not protect. The foul play is going to go out. It's going to go into the instant. Like I thought, instant would survive that. Kyogre is going to wake up, going to get the Ice Beam off, and this needs to kill. The Ice Beam does kill, but here's the problem. I didn't burn my timer. There's still 52 seconds left in this battle. Leftovers is going to come out. 48 seconds left on the clock. The HP from the leftovers, 45 seconds, 43 seconds before the timer actually starts. So I almost threw this game. If there was an extra turn, this game would have been lost by me. If there was one extra turn, or 4 extra seconds, this game would have been lost, because it would have allowed for an extra turn. So I threw this game by not playing the timer on that last turn. But thankfully, I got bailed out by a quick wake up and by just enough time on the clock for lefties there. That's definitely one of those ones where it's definitely a misplay looking back, because I don't know why I locked in. I said it the turn before, I'm playing the timer. And then that turn, I just decided to say, hey, nah, I don't need to play the timer. No worries. But like, that almost cost me the game. Thankfully, those 3 seconds that we have here is enough. That is the game. That is the W in my favor. We have 2 Pokemon to their 1, and that is massive. So, big W there. Very well played to my opponent, and just a huge game 1. That is a massive game 1 to win, because you don't want to lose those game 1s, right? I had the early turns right. I do think if they just protect their Amoonguss that end turn, instead of banking on Kyogre to have that turn of sleep, I do think they win the game straight up. Because it stalls out my fake out. It stalls out my fake out, and they get the foul play into instant. And the following turn, they can just pollen puff my instant, I'm dead. And then all of a sudden, they win the game, and I can't break them. Right? So I do think they threw. They could have played the timer themselves. But regardless, I am super happy to come out of that on top in game 1 there. And it's just one of those ones that if I can just keep getting reads right, my Thunderous Dialga lead right here is perfectly fine. There's nothing that I really need to worry about at the moment. So we're just going to jump ahead a little bit here. Like I said, there was nothing crazy going on there. So we'll jump right into the battle here. Hopefully this black screen doesn't last. There we go. I'm going to say, let's jump right into game 2 here. No real reason to stick around. But like, it's one of those ones where I said at the beginning of game 1, they cannot deal with Thunderous Dialga as long as I'm not done with it. They're going to make a crazy change-up, and this is a change-up I was not expecting. With Kyogre, excuse me, that is a Palkia and a Regieleki. They're going to make the crazy change-up with a Regieleki and Palkia, and this is one of those ones where, yeah, Thunderous should be fine. Thunderous should click Eerie Impulse, and I should drop the Max Quake into the Eleki. Eerie Impulse will hinder off the Palkia. I think Palkia needs to Dynamax here, so it shouldn't be too big of a problem. Dialga's going to tank it. If we Dynamax the Quake, we'll kill off the Eleki. And we should all but be fine. And we should all but be fine. And now they're gonna max, we're gonna max. You do see that max, and this is one of those ones, if it's a Lecky, we get a Life Orb Max Quake into it and it just dies. Which is absolutely perfect. I don't care what Palkia does, they can get tripped from up. I've got a Dialga, 2 turns left to max, they don't have a max. You know, at that point, if it was Regieleki there, I think we would win the game. But here's the Palkia. Dynamaxing correctly for my opponent right now. We already knew it was faster, so nothing too crazy there. We could have also seen something like an Electro up here, but I don't think Electro was ever going to make an appearance here. I could have gone for a Trick Room, but I didn't see the reason to. I think Trick Room was risky because I wasn't sure how much a Quake or a Wormwood from their Palkia was going to actually do to my Dialga. So I wanted to max, make sure I survive here, get rid of that piece on their side, and I figured, hey, Thunderous isn't dying here. Next thing you know, it's Wild Charge Eleki. Down goes Thunderous. They will also reveal Life Orb on this turn as well. And all of a sudden, they've got a max Palkia, probably stacking Quake Boost in front of me. And all I've done here is kill a Regieleki. It's not the worst, it's not the end of the world because I can English. It's not the end of the world because I have my Sash Instant, right? And my Sash Instant coming in right here is really, really nice for me. Because Sash Instant waltzes on in. Down goes into the Aleki here. But like I said, Sash Instant comes in, and they're going to bring in Porygon too. You do not, I don't care what world you live in, you do not bring in Calyrex here. We are going to see that last Pokemon. I'm assuming it's either Amoonguss or the P2. It shouldn't be Amoonguss. It should definitely be P2. Based on the fact that my Thunders had goggles, I had taunt to set the Amoonguss down. That's the only natural adjustment I can see them making. So Instant comes in here. Basically, if they go Calyrex, I burn the White Herb and I get Fake Out Pressure. If they go P2, it won't have Protect. I have Fake Out Wormwind into that slot, into another Wormwind, and this Calyrex, and they should die. Simple as that. And it's one of those ones where they should be clicking Quake here. But I think they're scared of Shuka Berry. I do believe they are scared of Shuka Berry, so I'm hoping they're going to click Geyser, because this will be a Fake Out for me into a Max Wormwind, into another Wormwind. Fake Out, like I said, into Wormwind, into the Porygon 2, and then we pray that another Wormwind will be able to finish it off, right? And we pray that they don't Quake here. I think Quake would be the correct play from them, but I think they were scared of Shuka Berry. We are going to see a Max Geyser. From my end, that was a little bit of a sigh of relief right there. Seeing that Geyser is okay. We're good. That kill on the back foot, that kill on the Thunder still really put me on the back foot, because I wasn't expecting myself to die. I had said to myself, you know what? I'm going to kill an Aleki here. Thundurus is going to be on the field. We're going to get the Eerie Impulse on the Palkia. I'll be able to taunt their Trick Room Setter on the switch in next turn. I can drop a Wormwind to the Palkia. I had this game set. And then Thundurus just dropped to the Regieleki, and I don't know if that was a damage roll. I don't know. That's a roll I just don't know. But regardless of that, we are seemingly okay thanks to the fact that they clicked a Geyser there as opposed to clicking anything else. And this is one of those ones where, what do I want to sacrifice? Right? Do I want to bring in Ogre and save my instant? Do I want to just sack my instant? Do I want to bring in Ogre? I think I optimally decide to bring in Ogre. I do think it's the best. There is a chance they try to Quake kill Dialga here after those Life Orb turns, right? Because they're probably clicking Quake, right? Obviously, they want the special defense boost at this point. It's a question of, do they want to click it into Dialga? I figured there was a chance that they would try to go into Dialga knowing they have a Calyrex in the back. So maybe my Ogre can come in for free, but here's a Quake. Quake number one, going on out right into the Ogre. Ogre is going to tank it pretty well. And now it's a question of, does Dialga kill? I was confident after seeing the initial damage that this Wormwind would drop Porygon 2. So we're going to see the Wormwind come on out, and let's find out. It is indeed going to be enough. And now, knowing it's Calyrex in the back, knowing I still have a Dialga here, they have to hit the Dialga slot. And this sets me up pretty well to be able to stop Trick Room. Dialga's on the field, and Kyogre's in front. The scary part here, though, is like we saw before, they have the capability of Seed Bomb. And I don't think Kyogre stalls out this endgame nearly as much as I would like. Right? Because if it's just Palkia, normally in a lead like this, I can bring in instant, set some Combines up, Seed Bomb, unless they're creating Spacer, and I'm winning. Right? But because of the fact that they have the Seed Bomb, this actually does mess with this endgame quite a bit, to be completely honest. Right? It's just one of the ones where it's like, okay, hold up, timeout. What's going on right here? I gotta find a way to win this. And I think the best play, I believe I Origin Pulse, right? Did I Combine or O-Pulse? I think I Combine. Or did I sack Instant? I don't even remember what I did here. I'm gonna be completely honest, because I'm trying to figure out how I got out of this. Anyways, we're going to, I think I protected for, why? What am I protecting? Oh, I'm protecting from Seed Bomb so I can get Fake Out Pressure after Dialga goes down. That's what I'm doing. And basically I'm saying right here, I protect. If Palkia goes after Ogre, Dialga gets a Roar of Time, kills Palkia. And if they go after Dialga, well then I get Fake Out and I get my Combines up and it's no big deal. Kyogre is going to be slower than the Palkia anyways, so being in Trick Room isn't too big of a deal here. And they are going to go straight for the Seed Bomb, and they opted not click the Trick Room. I think that's the best play possible. They know their Palkia is the fastest thing on the field. I respect it. And this is where Instant has to come on the field. Instant needs to click Fake Out. I'm still comfortable saying, hey, you do not have Trick Room. Sorry, you don't have Protect. You have Trick Room. So I do need to stop the Trick Room. I don't think Palkia is going to be the one to set it. I think this is just Fake Out. And I believe I clicked O-Pulse because I needed as much damage onto Calyrex as I possibly could. Of course, they're going to get the White Herb there. But like I said, did I actually? Okay. I see what I'm going for, right? Like, I calm-minded here, but my endgame is very questionable. Because last turn I protected to get Fake Out Origin Pulse off, but now I'm calm-minding. I don't know what I'm going for here. I really don't. Like, I'm back at, like, my endgame is very inconsistent. Like, one time it looks like I'm just going for the Fake Out damage, and then the next turn I'm not doing that. So I'm questioning my own endgame right now. I don't think this is great. That Earth Power correct on their end right into my instant. Instant's gonna go down. And I'm gonna get a Calm Mind up here. Calyrex, of course, isn't gonna move. And the question is, how well can I tank these attacks? And it's one of those ones that I really shouldn't be tanking these attacks, right? Where Kyogre's kind of here. I really shouldn't be tanking these attacks. I don't think I've played this endgame very well. But like I said, I was on the back foot. I did not expect Thundurus to really go down to that red Lecky. So I'm already kind of thinking game 3 at this moment, right? I need to kind of give myself turns to get to game 3. Now, there's no reason to Calm Mind. I don't take double ups at this point. I need to get Pokemon off the field. I need to pray for some sort of critical hit on my end. They're going to drop a Spatial Rend right here. Going into the Kyogre. Kyogre is going to be able to tank just fine. Origin Pulse from my Kyogre. Going to miss. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't know which one it missed. So I was just praying that we hit the Calyrex. We do connect onto Calyrex and get that critical hit as well. So the Rex is going to go down. And seeing the Rex go down is massive. Absolutely massive. The rain is going to end. Palkia is on their side of the field. And this is where I think I threw again. This endgame is talk about... I don't think I'm playing it very well. I got bailed out by hacks and I'm still not playing it well. Right? This is one of those games where I got bailed out and I'm still not playing it well. I protect, get a little bit of leftovers back. I think that's correct. And the thing is, with that protect, I need to be thinking about my next turn. Right? I could Ice Beam to scout out the damage. But I think I know at this point, I'm going to need to not get crit. So I do believe Calm Mind is my optimal play. Right? At this point, the moment they crit with a Spatial Rend, I've lost. Doesn't matter if I have all the boosts in the world. The moment they crit one, I've lost. And I need to realize that because here, I scout for Ice Beam damage. I think that is incorrect. I think I Calm Mind right away. Like, I'm trying not to have to play to the Calm Mind endgame. But I put myself on a back foot by not Calm Minding here. Because now I Ice Beam, it doesn't do a whole lot. Yeah, I could have gotten a freeze, but that would have been super lucky. If I crit the Calyrex and then freeze this Palkia, right? Like, I just wanted to scout for damage, I think, in the moment. But I do believe that was wrong. I needed to Calm Mind that turn so that I could minimize Spatial Rend damages moving forward. Now, we are going to protect here. Like I said, I need to start stalling out their Spatial Rends. They only have 8 of them. They've already clicked a couple. So Protect is on the field right here. Earth Power is going out. That's fine. They're going to correctly Earth Power onto turns. You're going to notice that into this endgame. They're Earth Powering onto turns I'm protecting. And I think that is very, very well played by them. Now, all of a sudden, I've got to Calm Mind. I've got to hope Lefty's Ogre can somehow stall this out and not get crit. So, literally, guys, I'm not even lying. My fingers were crossed every time they clicked Spatial Rend. There was always a chance they miss. Of course, I've been lucky enough in this game. And that's what kind of scared me, too. Like, I had been lucky enough in this game already to even be in this position that surely they're just going to get the crit. Right? Surely they're going to crit. They deserve the crit. They played this game too way better than I have. Right? They definitely deserve the crit here. Ogre going to tank that, thankfully, though. And now, once again, it is Protect. Then I Calm Mind one more time. And we got to start scouting out to see how much damage they're doing. Ogre's going to Protect. And at this point, guys, it's one of those ones where... do I actually win this endgame? And I think the answer is yes if they do not crit me. The answer is yes if they don't crit me. So now I Calm Mind again, try to take less damage. We're looking to see how much damage they're actually doing to me each turn. You're going to see a Spatial Rend. I'm praying once again, please no crit, please no crit, please no crit. Kyogre is going to manage to survive. It did 72 to 27, which is roughly 42, I think. I think it's about 42 points of damage. We're going to get our... actually, it might be less. Hold up. It might be more. It might be 52. No, 72. No, it's 42. It's 42. It's 42. Why do I second guess myself? 45. 45. My bad. It's 45. Math is not my friend, guys. Math is not my friend. Either way, it's 45. Now I Protect to get some health back. We know it's going to do less than 45 points because I got to Calm Mind up the next turn. And this is one of those ones where, yeah, now it's time to start getting Ice Beams up. I'm +3. They're +2 on the special defense side. Ice Beam's actually going to hurt right here. Right? We get our leftovers back right here. Now I go for Ice Beams. Right? Get an Ice Beam into their Palkia right now. Just get the damage up. I can't Protect here. They're going to go for a Spatial Rend. We need it not to crit. There's the Spatial Rend. Here we go. We need it not to crit. And at this point, they're running low on Spatial Rends as well. We go from 51 down to, I believe, 15, which is 36 points of damage. 60, and we're going to go here. So now we didn't Calm Mind here. Right? I could have Calm Minded again, which arguably would have been optimal. But I was banking on Kyogre's leftovers being enough. I was also kind of banking on that being a 2-shot from that point, but we're gonna pretend that's not the case. Anyways, Kyogre's gonna Protect here. Gonna try desperately to just get through this endgame. They're going to go Earth Power. I'm going to heal on up a little bit more with these lefties. And it's just one of those endgames where if I don't get crit, I think I'm okay. They're running out of Spatial Rens. Kyogre could technically Calm Mind right here. And I feel like I could go for that. But that still plays to the crit, whereas Ice Beam can play to my crit or my freeze. Right? I think that works a little bit more in my favor. Because Spatial Rend is already a high crit move, right? So it's one of those ones where I go for Ice Beam here. And they're going to correctly Spatial Rend again. I believe this is their last one. Kyogre is going to tank it, manage to survive on 2 HP. Ice Beam's coming out from my Kyogre. I'm banking on either a crit for myself or a freeze. But like I said, I believe that was their last Spatial Rend. So I should be able to tank a non-stab Earth Power now. Spatial Rend wasn't killing me. Earth Power is going to do less. So once again, as long as they don't crit, I'm fine. Obviously, this is a big click of the protect button here. There's nothing too crazy about that. It's simple. It's a simple protect. It is a very simple protect in my opinion. There's nothing going on. I don't know why I took so long to make this decision. I need the health. I was actually thinking they were going to Earth Power. And that's probably live in the moment. I'll go back and tell you guys what I was thinking there. There's one of those ones where if they're expecting a protect and they do have another Spatial Rend, they're still clicking Earth Power here. So is it better, because I know I don't live another Spatial Rend, is it better for me to try and live the Earth Power from 14 points of damage and go for an Ice Beam there, or should I protect? I opted for the protect because I was confident they were out. I also double protect just in case I miscounted. If they're Earth Power and I didn't miscount, I'm going to live, and if I live, 2 turns of leftovers gets me back to this spot anyways. So it's not really a big throw, right? I get back to that spot if I don't get the double protect anyways, and if I get the double, I just win. So now I can protect again. It just guaranteed the end game there. So seeing that they went for Earth Power confirms they're out of Spatial Rends. I protect, get back up to just a little bit more than the 26 points of health. And once again, as long as they don't crit, my Ice Beam comes out and finishes them off. So 100%, I don't think I played that game very well at all in a matchup that I think is super in Dialga's favor. And I think my opponent just played amazingly to keep themselves in that. And honestly, probably deserved at least game 2 and maybe game 1 as well. But Earth Power is going to come on out here. Thankfully, we did get bailed out by our crit and not getting crit in return, which is just massive here. And Calm Mind Kyogre are gonna squeak this one out for us and take the win here, which is very, very nice. Honestly, started 0-2 in World Cup, so happy to go on a 4-game win streak here right now. Feels a lot better than being at 0-2, you know. Feels like I'm finally doing something for the team, you know. But very, very well played game to my opponent. And of course, guys, we were sitting here long enough. I'm not gonna make you guys sit here any longer. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, and I will catch you guys in a future video.